This was a soybean farmer who is unfortunately caught in the crosshairs now of what I think is this triangulation plan as Israel continues to lose its footing in the world. It is obvious that this is, Nazi relocation strategy 2.0, where they are looking for places to go. And one of those places is Argentina. The grand bargain, as I would think most of us would believe, is what actually happened when President Milei, President or Prime Minister Milikowski, and the Donald met in New York a little over a week ago. Well, there's a reason why Argentina is getting a $20 billion plus bailout. Here's the first layer of the story from the soybean farm.
Well, like we talked earlier, we went from 12 billion to zero. And then, as a farmer, we get up one morning and you give Argentina, which is our second biggest competition in the world. They're the largest exporters of soybean meal in the world. So I get up one morning, I turn the news on, and you give $20 billion of taxpayer money to my competition. And then the Chinese buy, I think the figure is 30 or 40 containers, ships, which is about 65,000 metric tons per ship, which is like 2.2 million bushels. So they buy 12 or 14 billion dollars worth of soybeans from the Argentinians after the tax holiday. And here's the caveat to it. They give $2.30 over the November board, while I'm getting 50 cents under the November board.
You see how the average worker in this country gets screwed, and you can thank normal trade relations with China and NAFTA for this very reason. This has been going on for decades, undercutting our farmers in this country. You know why no one fucking does farming anymore? You know why it's not grass-fed beef, it's soy beef? Why do you think that is? Because of shit like this. That's what this is. We have allowed this to happen because you guys get caught up in stupid things like, oh, this person used that bathroom, or this person said the N word or the F word, or who the hell knows what. Just remember, it's always done as a distraction. Always. This is what really matters. You want to know why you can't afford shit? This is an example. Argentina gets a $20 billion bailout because Milei basically gutted his entire country with a chainsaw, literally and figuratively, and it failed. Now he has to come and get a bailout from us. Gives him the bailout. And then they proceed to now sell the soybean product through Argentina, and now it's going to China. And China's getting it for pennies on the dollar. So we're getting double fucked at the same time. Well, that's apparently what a lot of people believe, but that's the way it goes. You know what, dude? Fuck you. That's all I got to say.
Fuck the farmers. We're so screwed because of so many reasons.
Why you don't like him? Because he's a Republican? Is that the reason?
Because he might have voted for Trump. Do you know that that's like? So do you know
what
that
the fuck is that shit?
When you say something like "fuck the farmers," basically what you're saying is "fuck all of us."
Yeah,
that's what you're saying. You're saying "fuck all of us." We don't exist without people like this guy. Because you could sit in your office on your computer in your little blue city and do whatever it is you're doing. Go try to get some to eat without these people.
That's messed up, dude. You don't have to like his politics, but at least he makes sure that our food is actually on the domestic side. It's actually produced here where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, the people that are making this a red-blue thing, you're the problem. Yeah. You're the problem. This is a class war. This is a class war. And if we don't protect our farmers, which, by the way, we've already screwed farmers so many different ways for the past 40 years that we don't grow anything that we all really need. We're completely dependent on other countries in this country for food. Completely dependent. So when the rest of the world gets about done with us, if these types of people that you don't like aren't the people that are going to be starting to build up and have farming again, how are you going to eat? You living on a homestead, dude? You milking cows?
And not only that, but you're also dealing with people that are actually critical of these guys because they supported Trump. And they're like, well, look at what Trump's doing now. Look at what Biden and Harris did to them during COVID, where the truckers did not want to ship where they wanted to ship the goods, but they didn't want to take the jab. And you thought it was a good thing to force them to do it. Otherwise, to hell with everybody else. Whatever happened to freedom of decision making? If you want to take the injection, you take it. And if you don't take it. Why is it? There has to be common sense, and we lack it.
Yeah, and it's farmers and truckers. It's farmers and truckers that a lot of the libs are who they would refer to as the deplorables. Yeah, yes. Let's see who survives when our country gets cut off from the rest of the world. Because I know it's not going to be the blue people. They're going to wither away and die in cities without power and not know what to do with themselves. So you keep talking down about the people that create your food and truck your food to where you get your food. See how that works.
It's not going to work well. Now, I am all about sustainable communities, community gardens and farms and things like that. That requires work and maintenance. You can't just magically snap your fingers. We've been through that. And we were actually very successful with one until a Zion-Nazi decided to rip it out from under us. And that's not an exaggeration. That's exactly what happened. So again, we have to put our differences aside. It is essential. You may not vote like this man votes, but you probably eat his food.
Oh, you definitely eat his food. And as somebody that actually spent more years waiting tables than practicing law, let me tell you something. And everybody who's ever worked in the restaurant business knows this to be true. Don't fuck with the people in charge of your food. Don't do it.
If you haven't seen,
don't fuck with the people that handle your food. It's worse to fuck with the people that are growing your food.
No, I agree. Again, I disagree with you, Sacrament. I disagree with a lot of you guys. You're always welcome here, but seriously, do not shit on farmers. For the love of God, we are in deep shit to begin with. Let's all have some common sense here. And I'm going to get to in a minute exactly why this is a big problem.
So that makes the Argentinian soybeans about $12.42 a bushel. I think that's the real figure they gave. So all my premium went.
Scott, I just lost you there at the end. You said your premiums go?
They all went to Argentina.
Well, that makes sense because that's where all the Zios are going to escape to, or at least where all of their money is going to go get washed.
These farmers are now having to compete with a country that is getting per bushel a price reduction of $12.42 compared to us. So they get to basically have rock bottom prices. And the only way we can compete with them is if we price it $12.40 above what they're charging. How does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. And it's the same problem with the tariffs. You cannot solve this by adhering to the will of the billionaire capitalist class. And the reason I know that this to be true is for this reason. Colin, I need the article, please. Hedge fund billionaire pressed Treasury Secretary for Argentina bailout. Argentine media reports Rob Citrone, whose hedge fund bet big on Argentina, reportedly asked his friend for a rescue package. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent delivered. There he is. On September 24th, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent announced a $20 billion package to rescue the Argentinian economy. It was a dramatic move to bail out a country that has little economic impact on the U.S. Argentine President Javier Milei is scheduled to meet with President Trump in the White House later this month, which he did. On Monday, popular information revealed that the taxpayer-funded bailout had massive economic benefits for hedge fund billionaire Rob Citrone, a personal friend and former colleague of Bessent. Citrone's fund, Discovery Capital, had bet heavily on Argentina, purchasing Argentine debt and equity in numerous companies closely tied to the country's overall economy. Citroen's investments reflected his belief that Milei's right-wing economic program, shocker, which emphasizes deregulation and sharply reduced government spending, would revitalize the Argentine economy. That theory began to unravel as growth slowed, unemployment spiked, and Milei's popularity tanked. This spring, Citroen reportedly urged Bessent to help Milei secure a separate $20 billion package from the IMF. IMF funds began to arrive in April, but proved insufficient to turn the Argentine economy around. Concerns turned into panic after Milei's party was routed in the Buenos Aires provincial election in early September, fueling fears that Milei would soon lose control of the economic agenda. Investors began dumping the peso and liquidating other Argentine assets, which spelled major trouble for Citroen's hedge fund. Major Argentine media outlets are now reporting that Citroen asked Bessent for a U.S. rescue package. Ariel Maciel, political economy editor of Perfil, a large Argentine media outlet, wrote that after the Buenos Aires elections, Citroen returned to his friend and former colleague to request a second bailout, this time from the very coffers of Bessent manages, the U.S. Treasury. You see how this works, ladies and gentlemen? Maciel elaborated on his report during an appearance on Net TV as Argentine broadcaster. Citroen is really the one who intervenes. He basically tells Bessent, "Hey, we need to help in Argentina." Popular Info contacted Discovery Capital and asked if the reports that Citroen asked Bessent to bail out Argentina were accurate. Discovery Capital declined to comment.
And yeah, Argentina is sort of what they're figuring is their plan B. And there's no reason not to think that, right? It worked for the Nazis. Zionists are the new Nazis. They're Nazi adjacent. They're the current incarnation of Nazis. So it makes sense that they would also be interested in Argentina.